You walk into a cafe you have never been to in a city you've never visited, and your brain, with full confidence, whispers, "We've done this before. This exact table, this exact song." The barista is about to drop a spoon. You know it, somehow. And then, 3 seconds later, it's gone. The feeling evaporates, the spoon drops. You're just a person in a cafe who briefly believed they were magic. That's déjà vu. 2/3 of us get it. Nobody can summon it. It leaves no evidence. And for 150 years, it drove scientists slightly insane. Today, the woman who finally trapped it in a lab, why it makes you feel psychic when you're provably not, and the twist that the creepiest glitch in your head might be the security system. Let's go. First, the name. In 1876, a French philosopher named Emile Boirac wrote about the feeling and called it déjà vu. Already seen, the French made even the glitch sound elegant. 12 years later came the first real clue. A Victorian neurologist, John Hughlings Jackson, noticed his epilepsy patients kept describing the same thing right before certain seizures. A dreamy, already lived this feeling. Those seizures came from one region, the temporal lobe, the part of your brain that handles memory and familiarity. First suspect, identified in 1888, wearing a very specific address. For the next century, theories got creative. Maybe one eye's signal arrived late and the brain read the echo as a memory. Maybe one brain half lagged the other. Neat ideas. Both wrong, but they kept the mystery warm. And of course, the folk theories never left. Past lives, prophetic dreams, the simulation hiccuping. When science leaves a gap, imagination moves in with furniture. So, déjà vu lives where memory lives. Good. But that raises the actual mystery. How do you study a 3-second feeling that strikes without warning, maybe once a month and leaves no trace? You can't exactly sit a volunteer in a scanner and say, "Now feel weird." Science needed the glitch on demand. For over a century, no one could do it. In 2003, psychologist Alan Brown pulled together everything known about déjà vu. The numbers alone are strange. About 2 out of 3 people experience it. It spikes when you're tired or stressed. It happens more when you travel. And here's the weird one. The young get it most. Déjà vu declines with age. Your grandmother almost never feels it. Hold that thought because it's about to matter a lot. Enter Anne Cleary, a memory researcher at Colorado State University, with the idea that finally cracked the case. Stop waiting for déjà vu. Build a trap for it. Her team built scenes in a virtual world. Gardens, museums, junkyards. Volunteers toured them in a headset. Then, later, they toured new scenes. The trick? Some new scenes secretly had the same layout as an earlier one. A hedge where the couch was. A statue where the fridge stood. Different skin. Identical skeleton. And volunteers walking those secretly matching scenes reported déjà vu. On demand. In a lab. The unstudiable feeling had been triggered on purpose. So here's the mechanism. Your brain recognizes the shape of the moment, the layout, the geometry, but can't find the source memory. The familiarity alarm rings. The file it points to is missing. That's why it happens in cafes and hotel lobbies and airports. The world is full of rooms wearing other rooms' skeletons. Your new dentist's waiting room is your childhood living room in a trench coat. And it's why travel spikes it. New places, endless recycled layouts, a tired brain doing fast pattern matching. Déjà vu is jet lag for your familiarity system. Quick side note for everyone yelling, "But I dreamed my déjà vu moments." Maybe, but remember what dreams are built from. Recycled rooms, recycled layouts, recycled skeletons. A dream is déjà vu ingredients, pre-mixed. Your brain doesn't need magic to make a new cafe feel dreamed of. It just needs a floor plan it's met before, anywhere, awake or asleep. Now, for the part that explains the creepiest bit, because déjà vu doesn't just feel familiar, it feels prophetic. You're sure you know what happens next. In 2018, Cleary and Alexander Claxton tested exactly that. During lab-induced déjà vu, they paused volunteers and asked, "Which way does this scene continue, left or right?" People experiencing déjà vu were convinced they knew. Strong, vivid, "I have seen this before" certainty. Their actual accuracy? Coin flip. Chance. The feeling of prophecy was real. The prophecy was not. So, When déjà vu makes you feel psychic, your brain isn't reading the future, it's reading its own false familiarity and wildly overpromising. It's the friend who says, "Trust me, I've been here," and has not. Which brings us to the twist. Because if déjà vu is a false alarm, why does your brain even let you feel it? Why not glitch silently? In 2016, neuroscientist Akira O'Connor scanned people during lab-triggered déjà vu, expecting the memory regions to light up. They didn't. The regions that lit up were frontal ones, decision areas, error-checking areas, the brain's quality control department. Read that again? Déjà vu may not be the glitch. It may be the moment your brain catches the glitch. The familiarity signal fires falsely, and a supervisor upstairs goes, "Wait, that's wrong. Flag it." That eerie shiver you feel? That's the flag. You're not witnessing your brain failing. You're witnessing it fact-checking itself in real time. And now, the age thing pays off. Remember, the young get déjà vu most, and it fades over the decades. If déjà vu were pure malfunction, that would be backwards. But if déjà vu is your brain's error checker doing spot audits, it makes perfect sense. Young, caffeinated quality control departments check everything. The audits get rarer as the department mellows, which reframes the whole experience. A 20-year-old feeling déjà vu twice a month isn't glitchy. They're running a paranoid, diligent, slightly over-caffeinated memory audit system. Congratulations, honestly. Want proof the familiarity system is a real physical dial that can break in both directions? Meet déjà vu's evil twin. Jamais vu. Never seen. You already know it. Write the word door 30 times, and somewhere around lap 15 it stops being a word. Door. Door. Is that even spelled right? Who invented this? Researcher Chris Moulin studied exactly that. People copying one word until it turned alien in their hands. Most folks broke within a minute or two. The work won an Ig Nobel Prize in 2023, and it's dead serious underneath. Same dial. Opposite failure. Déjà vu, familiarity fires when it shouldn't. Jamais vu, familiarity refuses to fire when it should. Your sense of "I know this is a setting." Settings can wobble. And when the dial truly jams? Moulin documented elderly patients with chronic déjà vu. One man refused to watch the news because he was certain he'd seen every broadcast before. He'd even explain how he knew, inventing memories on the spot to justify the feeling. The familiarity came first. The story came after. That's the machine, exposed. The feeling doesn't come from a memory. The memory gets built to serve the feeling. One honest caveat because it matters. For a small number of people, frequent intense déjà vu, many times a day, followed by confusion or odd sensations, can signal temporal lobe epilepsy. Jackson's patients from 1888 were real. Occasional déjà vu, a few times a year, is normal and healthy. A daily flood of it is a see a doctor thing. The dose makes the difference. So here's what you now know that almost nobody in that cafe knows. The feeling isn't a memory leaking from a past life. It isn't the simulation stuttering, and it isn't you being psychic. We checked. Coin flip. It's your brain recognizing the skeleton of a moment, ringing the wrong bell, and then, in the same second, catching its own mistake and tapping you on the shoulder about it. The glitch and the fact check, 3 seconds apart, in the dark, forever. And you get to feel it happen. That's not creepy. That's backstage access. So next time it hits, in some cafe in some city, don't shiver. Smile. Somewhere upstairs, a tiny inspector just did their job perfectly. And if the feeling ever whispers that you knew the spoon would drop, you didn't. But for 3 glorious seconds, it was fun to believe. Wasn't it? Or, wait, have we done this ending before?